Hello everyone and welcome back to our Celpip course. My name is Marco and in today's 13th class, I will continue giving feedbacks to my students' writing and speaking homework. All these audio files that I will be using today and all these examples for the writing test are going to be included in the folder together with this video that you're watching. So don't worry, the most important Word document, 13th class, if you open it, you will always know where we are at and what am I referring to, which speaking task or which writing task am I talking about in each moment. If the audio files are not loud enough or if you cannot hear them, you can always pause the video and listen to them one more time. Of course, as you know, the first part of this video is going to be dedicated to writing homework. Second part will be dedicated to the speaking homework. And if you stick with us and if you focus enough, by the end of the 15th class, I will give you an important information that is going to be very beneficial for you. So stick with us, and with no further ado, let's start with the first example of the writing test, complaining to a bank. Before I continue, I have to remind you that all these tips, tricks, and strategies that I give you today, they work if you work too, all right? So preparation is the best. Complaining to a bank. You have received a letter from your bank asking you to acknowledge a receipt of a new bank card. However, the card was missing from the envelope. Write a letter to the bank's head office. In your letter, explain why you're writing, express concern about a missing card, and ask them what they intend to do. You should write at between 150 to 200 words. Dear Sir, Madam. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. Very nice. The word count is 196 words, almost perfect. So now let me see how this works in grammar. Okay, now, structure is good, word count is also very good. So, it starts with, Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing this letter in connection with missing my new bank card, which you sent it via email. All right, so this is good. I mean, of course, it has some grammatical mistakes, but I just want to remind you that the purpose statement should always be easy, should always be very simple, and within one sentence. Definitely not 2 or 3 sentences. So that's why this first purpose statement is good. I'm writing this letter in connection with my my new bank card, which you sent, not it, which you sent via email. I'm writing this letter concerning my missing new bank card. I'm writing this letter regarding to is a better and more natural expression. Connecting with, I don't think so. Regarding my missing new bank card, which you sent via email. I'm Sakard and I opened a savings account at the downtown Montreal branch last week. My account number is 243. I have received. So this is where you explain why you're writing. I have received mail from your institution, not institution. Okay, so again, spelling is bad here. You put articles or prepositions where you're not supposed to, and you don't include them where you're supposed to include them. So make sure you don't have these kind of hiccups. To confirm the receipt of the new bank card, but the new debit card was missing from the envelope. That's the problem. I've received the mail from your institution to confirm the receipt of the new bank card, but the new debit card was missing from the envelope. There will be a chance to misuse my debit card if it is handed over to others. So I would say that, so express concern about them. You explain why you're writing, now you're expressing concern. I am afraid that there could be a chance that my debit card is misused. My debit card is misused misused if it is handed over to others. If it is stolen, I wouldn't say handed over. If it's stolen by others. Okay, so that's your concern. Recently, I transferred the amount from another bank account to this account. So instead of stolen by other, recently I transferred the amount. So you're not using correct articles here. The amount from another bank account to this account, and also I will be getting my salary and other income to this account. If the card is with the stranger, I talked to the student, he said stranger. If the card is at some other, with the stranger, if some stranger has my card, some stranger has my card, he may misuse it by withdrawing the money from ATM or using it online in retail stores. So here we can see a typical mistakes that my students make, which can be solved. These mistakes could be solved by 10 minutes dedication or sacrifice every night. Sorry, if you just dedicate 10 times just for Googling, to find to Google articles in English language, or you should Google. There are millions of really useful grammatical sites that are going to help with your grammar. If you just decide or just Google which are the best sites for English grammar, you're going to find a lot of good results, a lot of helpful websites that are going to help you with your articles, with your prepositions, and with your tenses too. And I don't think the student here has problems with synonyms. I think this is pretty good homework in terms of task fulfillment. It does follow all these bullet points, and the student puts all these the bullet points follow the paragraphs. So, but unfortunately, this will never score higher than 8 because of these silly mistakes. In retail stores. Considering the above risk, ask them what they intend to do. Considering the above risk, I expect you to block my call for all transactions and reissue card at the earliest, not earliest, but earliest. It will be safe to collect the card from your bank. It will be safer to collect the card from your bank. So please deliver a new card to a bank branch. Please notify me when the card arrives in your branch location. I will come and collect it. Thank you for your cooperation. So I'm looking forward. Oh, please notify me. Okay, this is a nice, not in your branch location, at your branch location. Thank you for your cooperation. Cooperation. It's not cooperation, cooperation, right? All right, I'm going to correct this, but I want you to know that this is not the best corrected. I don't like the wrap up, and I don't like the fourth paragraph where you tell them what to do. You actually have to ask them what to do and suggest. I think the best idea would be to do this, right? Are you planning to do this, this, and that? And what are your next steps? Something like that. So the task tells you to ask them what they intend to do, not for you to tell them what you're supposed to do. Remember, this Celpip is not testing your knowledge on how to write an email. It's testing if you are understanding the question, right? If you understand, if you can comprehend what they tell you to do, right? It's not always about writing a perfect email. It's about you understanding what you're supposed to do here. So in some cases, it's more important that you follow the bullet points than to write in the best way possible, right? Because if you understand an information that I give you, and if you're able to give the information back to me, if there is some kind of communication that has mutual understanding, that is better than sometimes using the perfect grammar or something like that. So I'm going to again Google articles, prepositions, and try to find the best websites for this. I'm going to correct this, put it here. Again, this is not the perfect correction, and the student here needs to pay attention to some things like maybe the conclusion here. Conclusion and the last fourth paragraph, yes. All right, let's continue. So next, in example 2, we are going to see task 2. A recent online protest was raged by Dr. Cindy saying, arguing that animals should not be kept in the zoo. She claimed that as living creatures, they have the right to be free and not locked up for public entertainment. Write 150 to 200 words on one of the options of your choosing. You should say why you choose your stance, what would happen if the other side of the argument would be supported. This is also important. Watch this out. What can be done to support or disapprove this Dr. Cindy's claims? Option A is for Dr. Cindy's claim, animals should not be kept in the zoo. Option B, against Dr. Cindy's claim, animals should be kept in the zoo. This one has 4 paragraphs and 159 words. That's okay, not too much, but definitely not less than 150, so it should be between 150 and 200. So let's see. So in my opinion, we should not keep the animals in the zoo for our joy and happiness, and it should be free in the wild forests as it is living creatures. And they should be free in the wild forests as they are living creatures like us. Okay, so this one is okay, but you need to mention maybe the other option. I understand how many people like to see animals in the zoo, and they would choose the other option where they would keep, the animals in the zoo. So you need to at least acknowledge the existence of the other option, if not showing the validity of this option, which student failed to do here. Firstly, animal life cycle affected. Firstly, the animal life cycle is affected if you locked up the animals, if you locked them up, or if you locked up these creatures. So don't say animals too much, right? There's creatures, animals, living beings, wild beings. I mean, there are many different synonyms you can use. Of course, the English, in terms of English skills, English speaking and writing skills, this student is not particularly amazing, but she definitely understands the structure, which I like, right? So let's continue. And those who are not, and if you locked up these creatures and those are staying alone and do not interact with other animals. So firstly, the animal lifestyle is affected if you locked up these creatures, and those are staying alone and do not interact. If you lock them, these creatures, as they are staying alone and do not interact with the other animals. In zoos, they keep the baby animals for more attractions. The baby animals are separated from their early days and kept in the locker. I would say that here the explanation of your first reason is they should not, their life cycle is affected. So baby animals are separated from their early days. And then you say baby animals are separated from their early days and kept in the locker. In zoos, they keep for more attractions. So I would put that they're staying along with the other animals. In the zoos, they keep baby animals. And now I'm missing some really strong argument here. If you lock up these creatures, animal is affected. So I will copy if from the if part is affected in firstly, the animal lifestyle is affected while they are kept in prison, and there's a term for this, like prison. I mean zoos, but of course they are confined in confined environment or limited living space, in limited living space. In zoos, they keep the baby animals for more attractions. Baby animals are separated from their early days and kept in the locker. If you lock up these creatures as they are staying alone and do not, they are staying alone, they are feeling alone, they are left alone. If you lock up these, they are left alone, they do not interact with other animals. So this is bad for their, I don't know, interacting with other animals. Still not the best argument, but when you're giving your reasons in the second and third argument, you have to show you have to tell the reason, explain it further, and give the strong argument that supports that reason. So always think in these terms. Secondly, they could not roam around the place and get food by themselves, and we may not know their hungriness. In addition, they become lazy. Not it, they become lazy and fall sick due to a lack of movement. After some time, it could not survive, they are not able to, they are not able to survive. They're not able to survive. In the forest, if we send it and they will die soon. If we send them back to the natural habitat, and they will die soon. Okay, very nice. And back to their natural habitat. So okay, this one actually makes sense. Secondly, they could not roam around the place and get their food by themselves, and we may not know their hungriness. In addition, they will become lazy. They will become lazy and fall sick due to a lack of movement. After some time, they're not able to survive. They would not be able to survive in the forest if we send them back to their natural habitat, and they will die soon. Okay, now this one makes sense. This one is more coherent. So what I also like about the student is that she applied my suggestion not to write overcomplicated sentences. So she started to make them shorter, more simple, and then add complexity to these sentences. Once she finishes her, like, let's say, first draft with the simple sentences, which are split, she started to avoid writing one long complicated sentence. This is also a good improvement here. Considering the above, this is very nice connector here for the last paragraph. Animals are to be freed in the forest and have rights, to roam everywhere in the forest. It should not they should not be locked up in the zoo for people's entertainment. Again, they should have the right to roam everywhere in the forest. They should not be locked in the zoo for people's entertainment. Basically, here, as we can see, the most important thing is that first and the last paragraph should be the same. And in the first paragraph, you always have to remember that you have to you have to tell me what was your option that you chose, and you have to also mention the other option, or like maybe even say why the other option is good. This is lacking in this homework, but overall this is pretty good. We can see the student's improvement. Of course, the grammar is not amazing. The student used wrong articles and so on and so forth, but I really do appreciate this effort. And as you can see, just after two or three homework and 2 or 3 practices, the student improved significantly. So that is why preparation and practice is crucial. Practice, practice, practice. At the first 10 times, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect 100 times, but time is going to serve. Time is going to serve in your benefit. So think of it as long process, and you will achieve so much more through the small steps over a long period of time than like big steps in a very short period of time. So let's go to example number 3. You have borrowed money from your bank. Now your income has changed. Write an email of about 150 to 200 words to the bank and explain the change in your finances. Make a request to change the amount of money you pay each month. Your email should include the following things: the amount of money you borrowed and the current repayment schedule, why you borrowed the money, and how your income has changed, why it has changed, how you would like to change the amount of money you pay each month. Even though this has four bullet points, I have to remind you that email still needs to have 5 paragraphs. So your 3 paragraphs, aside from the first paragraph, which is showing the reason why you wrote, and the last paragraph where you wrap it up, it still needs to have 5 paragraphs. First is the purpose statement, last of course, and the sign off according to familiarity or formality. So let's see how this works. First, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. I told this to the student. It doesn't mind that you have 4 bullet points. The email still needs to have 5 paragraphs, right? So this one has 194 words, all right? And let's just copy and see how this works in terms of grammar. So it says here, "Dear Sir, Madam, the purpose of my writing is to request you change my loan repayment schedule." It requests that you change my loan repayment schedule, i.e. monthly, equated monthly installment. Now this one, of course, as I said, EMI, they know what their abbreviations are because they are in banking. So myself, my Gupta, I think I'm using the same one. My Gupta. Yeah, sorry, I use the same one here. So let's move. No, I copied the same one, sorry. This one is going to be legalizing marijuana. Sorry, legalizing marijuana has always been a big debate. Some say this measure would reduce crimes and really should not matter as it is done anyway. Others argue that legalizing marijuana in Canada would mean that the crime was hidden first, will now be openly done and would lead to some serious addiction problems. So write 150 to 200 words on the opinion you support. Option A, marijuana should be legalized, or option B, marijuana should not be legalized. Again, I apologize for this, the one before. So I'm going to just delete this. Our example 3 is going to be the task 2 about legalizing marijuana. Now this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. This is bad. This should not be here. We will see what are we going to do about this. It has 183 words, which is kind of a good. I would maybe even say the perfect ratio. This is the perfect word count. But now let's see how this works in terms of grammar. So I know there is a complex history of legalizing marijuana, and there are different opinions from each, not prospective but perspective. However, I believe there are more advantages than disadvantages to legalizing it. Perfect. Even though, like, this is a hotly debated topic, so even though many people would choose the other option, I choose my option, right? This is what you should say, of course, without using my option, their option, his option, whatever. First of all, the government could manage the amount of quality of marijuana it sells. Okay, I believe any illegal drugs could have more chance of giving you critical issues such as a death. Okay, so this one needs to be paraphrased. It doesn't sound natural. The government could damage the amount of quality of marijuana it sells. Okay, I understand your reason. I believe any illegal drugs could have more chance of giving you critical issues such as death. In general, sellers, I believe any illegal drugs can have more chance of giving you fatal. So death means fatal. Have a chance of giving you fatal side effects. Fatal side effects. In general, sellers want it says wants, no, you have to say want to provide the product as low cost as possible and sell them, not sell it, but sell them at pricey rates to sound make sense, to make them look branded and, I don't know, more sense, to make them look more affordable and branded, maybe. Yeah, they're mixing them with many things, so they want to sell them at a low price as possible. I don't know how I know this, basically. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of documentaries, not using a lot of drugs myself, so provide products at as low a cost as possible and sell them at pricey rates to make them look affordable and branded. Secondly, if you started with firstly, then you secondly, obviously you could be addicted to anything else, to anything. Due to that, if you take anything too much, because of our addictive nature, because of humans' addictive nature, if you take anything too much, it will be determined. Detriment. Determent is like when you have like a focus and that you are determined to do something. You decided firmly that you want to accomplish a goal or something. You're determined. But detriment means something that is giving you bad effect, bad side effect, something that is bad for your health, will be detrimental on your body and health. Detrimental. If you take anything too much, it will be detrimental on your body and health. To your body and health. For example, alcohol. I don't know why you put alcohol like this. I don't know. Alcohol is also often, for example, alcohol is often on debate titles for addiction. Debated for its addiction. Debated. It's also often debated for its addiction. For the addiction it creates. It creates. People say you should drink 1 glass of red wine each day for your health. Nonetheless, there are a massive amount of people. There is a massive amount of people who are struggling with alcohol addiction and its bad side effects or something like that. Thirdly, I believe the governments and schools should provide a proper education for smoking marijuana if it's legalized. Yeah, this is true, but therefore I believe marijuana should be legalized for safety reasons and for better education. Not a strong point here. So what you should do here is that you have to include like the government and schools, teaching kids how to use marijuana properly, or at least educating them on the bad side effects or addictive nature of this. So, but even though marijuana might be similar in its addictive nature as some other substances, and even though you provide me the reason, the argument, or the reason that everything can become addictive if you use it too much, you should use this third argument as part of explanation of second or third paragraph, so you can stick them together so the structure looks as it has four paragraphs, not five in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, therefore marijuana, like the last paragraph. Okay, I understand this. Therefore, I would say I would probably use some other connectors like uh, all things considered, all in all, in conclusion, to sum it up, or something like that. So maybe you need to use different connectors here. Also, you need to mention the other option, or at least the validity. Like in the first paragraph, you did this, but in the last paragraph, you provided to do that. So in terms of grammar, this looks pretty nice. So I'm going to copy this, and I want to remind you that the correction that I made is not perfect. This is just maybe my editing in terms of grammar and structure, but it's not perfect. Well, basically, I explain where it needs some work and how we can fix it. All right. So that was the correction. That was the task 2 about legalizing marijuana. And now what we are going to do, we are going to move to speaking part. So I will start from the task 1. So test 1, task 1. Your friend wants to rent the movie tonight. Give your friend advice about which movie to rent and explain why it is a good movie. Now, I have a lot of examples here. Today, we are going to listen to a lot of examples of the test 1, task 1. So let's listen to the first one. First one, test 1, task 1.
Hi, Chris. I'm happy to hear that you want to rent a movie tonight. Is there really a good movie for you and your daughter Jojo? Because my daughter and I watched so many times, the movie's name is Zootopia. It's an animal movie. It's very good for the family. Firstly, the movie is really funny. My daughter and I couldn't stop laughing from the beginning to the end, especially the slut talking. And because the scene is very beautiful, and the elements authentic and vivid like the real. Secondly, this movie is really a good movie for family to watch together. My daughter learn a lot from this movie because she told me so many times that she wants to be. Actually, this movie is really good movie for whole family to watch. My daughter learned a lot from this movie. She said she wants to be brave like the bunny. You must work very hard to become the police officer. So every once in a while we talk about this movie if she wants to give up or something. So I think it's very good for you to watch it.
Okay, so obviously it was the student's first attempt, so she was really anxious. Her delivery was full of pauses and everything. I don't want to listen. If I start giving what were the wrong things here, I'm going to find many, which would be kind of unfair because, as you heard, like I felt really sad for the student that I had to put her through such a horrible experience. First time recording yourself, it's just painful, really painful for everyone. For her and for me as well to listen to this, because it's like I feel so sad, but you have to work on it. You have to do this. First time it's hard, but after that it's only easier and easier, and you can only get better. So of course, apart from the student being really anxious here, she mentioned Zootopia and it gave me some pretty nice reasons. It was really funny. She was within the time frame too. 1 minute 35 seconds, of course, but as long as we know you should speak for 90 seconds, that's the most important part here. She said it was really funny. When you see the movie is really funny, try to find something else. Instead of really funny, really this, really that, or very this, very that, you can say like, instead of really or very funny, you can say hilarious. So try to Google different kind of emotions or words that you can use instead of very, right? Remember, you were not very afraid or really afraid. You were horrified, terrified, or something like that, right? So pay attention to those kind of things. Authentic. She said the movie was authentic. It felt real. So that was really nice. She said so we can see that the student has the ability to express herself in the best way possible, but she doesn't have the structure at this point. So that's why it looks upside down and all over the place. But if you understand the structure, if you have the structure, you understand your time limitation and everything, and how to do the intro, how to finish it. So I think if you understand that, then this student would perform much better. But again, I'm saying this is pretty good considering this is her first time. Her daughter wants to be like a bunny and become like a police officer. So these are all good examples, good points that how to say. Okay, so this looks pretty good in terms of she has some pretty good arguments that support her option or suggestion or advice, but you need to give me at least 2 or 3 movies to suggest. All right, so that wasn't so bad. I corrected this student. She also didn't perform best in the second time, because when you do it first time and then I give you the feedback, then it's even worse because now you're thinking, should I be like this? It has like a 1 minute, 1 minute of, I have a 1 minute limitation. Am I following this? Am I saying too much? Am I doing too much of pauses? Is my tone appropriate to the situation and everything? So the second one is going to be also not best, but way better than the first one. Let's listen to her corrected test 1, task 1 correction.
Hi, Chris. I heard that you want to rent a movie tonight, and you don't know what movie you want to watch. So I would like to recommend some movies for you. My daughter and I watch a lot of movies most movies are Disney movies like Frozen, but I would like to recommend the best movie, Zootopia, to you. Firstly, this movie is really funny, and we couldn't stop laughing because it's really hilarious.
See how she said, like I told her that she shouldn't say very funny, and she says it was very funny. It was hilarious. We were laughing, right? So she did remember. But you can see how this works on her brain right now. I have to think about so many things. This is hard. Well, no, it's not. It's hard for the second time, of course, and it's hard after you did the first time, and then you get like extra feedback. But overall, this is pretty nice. Let's go back.
The scene is really beautiful. And you never seen before because all of the animals living in the same place. The animals are all authentic and vivid. So I would like to say who doesn't like the animals. The funniest part is the slug talking a lot. The way the slug talking. Second is the movie is really good for the family. My daughter get a lot from this movie, and they learn how to be brave and positive. I hope this information is useful.
I hope this information is useful. All right, so basically you know how you can end this. You can end, I hope my suggestions for the movies, I hope you're going to have a lot of fun times. I hope you're going to choose one of my movies and don't eat too much popcorns or whatever. I hope your movie night is going to be blast. So, okay, she still didn't mention other movies than Zootopia. The good thing is that she was within the time limit, 1 minute 29 seconds. That's good. Of course, she used a lot of pauses and stuff like that. But again, I'm not going to go into that because obviously this is the second time. It took her 24 seconds to do the introduction. Watch out, you don't need that much. So 24 seconds is too long. This leaves you with 66 seconds by the end. So, I mean, in 66 seconds, that means you have 32 seconds. That leaves you with 32 seconds for each movie to say which movie it is and to explain why this movie is good for watching and to give me maybe one final strong reason or a strong point that supports your advice. Now let's listen to task one, part 2.
Hi, Ryan. I got to know that you wanted to watch some movies tonight. So I have a bunch of lists. I believe you are going to like two of the movies. One is Road to Perdition, and the actor is Tom Hanks, whose name is Mike Sullivan in the movie. So the movie is all about the powerful depression era of Middle Western mobster. So it shows the relationship between father and son and how it evolves around the whole script, and how they, father and son, they set out on a journey to revenge and rediscover themselves, and finally they have a father-son kind of relationship at the end of the movie. So this movie was really fantastic, and it's a kind of thriller and suspense movie. And the second movie which I'm going to recommend is to you is that you must watch Blood Diamond. It's a very good movie. The movie teaches us the ethics of the whole movie is around how the rich people or rich consumers in the world, they are buying unknowingly they are buying many stuffs from the poor countries, which they shouldn't buy because they don't know. So it's a movie wherein a journalist from the Civil War, she helps a black guy and a white guy to sell a diamond, which basically they don't know why they are doing. Thumbs up the end.
Okay, that was the student didn't finish. Gave me only two suggestions. I didn't hear the introduction was really nice, but I couldn't hear like Road to Partition. Like, listen to this, Road to Partition, but it took me like a couple of times to listen to realize what was the movie.
I got to know that you wanted to watch some movies tonight. So I have a bunch of lists. I believe you are going to like two of the movies. One is Road to Perdition.
Yeah, Road to Partition with Tom Hanks. Okay, just Tom Hanks being in the movie is a pretty good, solid argument. But yeah. Also, you are not here to give me a trailer of the movie where you're going to spoil it to me with giving up too much information, right? So you need to be more believable. Listen, I cannot tell you. You have to watch it. It's a really good movie, and you're going to watch it because you're going to like the relationships and the story is amazing, the plot is amazing, and I think you're going to like a picture because they show a lot of nice, beautiful places. I don't know. I'm just thinking out of my head now. But you don't want to explain too much because it's not realistic. When you're calling your friend on a phone and you're trying to suggest your friends trying to give some advices about the movies, then you don't start with, you should watch this movie like because of this and because of that, and it has this, and I think it's a good, nice story of a relationship. You're speaking like you're writing an essay to someone, but you have to remind you're speaking actually over phone with your friend. So when you do that, you have to be just more realistic, right? You don't have to tell me everything about the movie. Just some pretty nice suggestions on why should I watch the movie. It should be like more believable, of course. And Black Diamond, okay, you need to have a better tone of voice here. You need to be more believable, I think, in my humble opinion. So you should use better tone, and you need to be more suggestive. You're given an advice. You should totally watch this movie, right? Like just like in a real life. Oh my God, I watched an amazing movie, because we know how hard it is to find a new movie, something that we are going to really enjoy. It's like 99% of the movies are going to be bad, and we feel sorry for the time we lost, because basically you get the picture. I don't want to explain too much, but you get the picture, right? When you finally find an amazing movie, you so want to share it with everybody, and like you really need to watch this movie. So you need to be more believable. But that's my personal opinion. You don't have to overact here. Having a better and more appropriate tone here would be good. Let's listen to Task 1, Part 3.
Hey Rishi, how are you? I heard from your brother that you are planning to rent a movie tonight. I know it is difficult to choose the best movie. However, I have best suggestion for you based on my past experience. Firstly, I know you are most interested in fantasy movies. I think you should consider watching Bahubali. So Prabhas, he is one of famous actor in India. So he acted as a hero, and Anushka is the heroine in this movie. So it is a blockbuster hit in India, and it has crossed all the records. So director made this movie in two parts, that is Bahubali 1 and Bahubali 2. The story is all about getting kingdom between two brothers. In Bahubali 1, fight sequences, songs, all those things are too good. So screenplay also plays major role in Bahubali 1. So definitely you will love this movie. And coming to second part, hero come to know like how his father has been killed by his parental uncle, and he will take revenge on that. So this is all about the movie, and I hope you take my suggestion and watch Bahubali. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Too many pauses. The introduction was nice, but the student spoke in. It was too robotic for me. It was like listening to a robot. No life force at all, right? Of course, I'm not joking. I'm not joking to the student. Don't get me wrong. I really do appreciate the fact that the student recorded himself. Obviously, he was reading from the paper. So at first, when you write on the paper, or when you write on a piece of document in your computer, when you read from it, then it will sound a little bit robotic at first. But I like the fact that the student was developing his idea, developing the reasons why we should watch this movie, but I couldn't understand which movie was it. So of course it's blockbuster in India. I've never heard it. I know that the Bollywood is it's like the biggest movie production in the world, bigger than Hollywood. So I know that Bollywood is amazing, and I know that there are some movies just speak slowly. I couldn't understand what the movie is. Really. I listened to it millions of times, but I couldn't find. So I told that to the student, and most of my Indian students were laughing because like I couldn't understand what he said, which movie it is. It's like saying Titanic. What is a Titanic? I never watched a Titanic, right? To them it was like that because everybody knew about this. The student made too many pauses and only one example, so I need to hear more examples. All right, and it was within the time frame 1 minute 24 seconds, so I appreciate that. Overall, this is good for beginners. Let's listen to task one, fourth part.
Hey Rishi, how are you? I heard from your brother that you are planning to rent a movie tonight. So I know it is difficult to choose the best movie. However, I have best suggestion for you based on my earlier experience. So right now I have two movies in my mind. That is, one is Bahubali and another one is Tripura. Firstly, I will talk about Bahubali. So Bahubali is one of the blockbuster in India, and it was directed by one of the famous director. So it is available in part 1 and part 2. So the fight sequences and songs and screenplay, everything is right. So everything is excellent, and you will definitely love that movie. And one more blockbuster from same director, that is Triple R. So that has been released recently, and that movie also has two heroes. They are also very famous in India. So you can consider watching Triple R as well. If you couldn't find Bahubali, right, you can consider watching Triple R. So last week only I watched that movie along with my family, and my kids loved that movie. So I hope you consider my suggestion, and you will watch Bahubali or Triple R, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
I can see that here the student improved, but only gave me two suggestions: Burbali or Bahubali. I don't know which one is it, because it's obviously an Indian blockbuster. I don't watch Bollywood. Around outside of the world, the Bollywood is not really popular in Europe unless you're like a big fan, like crazy fan about that. Like as in Japan they say otaku, right? So someone that is like individually really crazy about this movie but about these kind of movies or production, Bollywood, then you wouldn't know because most of us we have no idea. In Canada as well, or unless you belong to this kind of specific kind of cultural. You know, if you live in a neighborhood with a lot of people from India, but I don't know how would you know. So, but still, only two suggestions, unless this Berbali or Bahubali, it mentioned there's part one and part two. So I guess those were like those two suggestions together with tribular, tribular maybe. It was within 1 minute 32 seconds, so I guess it was within the time limit. Let's take 2 seconds from the beginning, so it was within the time limit here. It had fight sequences, but you need to be believable here. So the tone was probably too robotic. There were many pauses and many hesitations, so you need to work on that. Let's go to next one. Test 1, task 2. Talk about a time when you interacted with an animal. Maybe you can talk about a family pet, a farm or zoo animal, or an animal in the wild. What kind of animal was it? What happened and why do you remember the experience? So let's play test 1, task 2.
So I interacted with a very special and very surreal and also very elusive animal in my real life in 2019 when I used to live in Manitoba. I went to a zoo named as Born in Winnipeg, and the animal is called as panda, so which is basically found in China. Somehow the Canadian government has found a way to get it imported from the Chinese government, and the animal is like it's a black and white. It's very beautiful and very distinctive, and like it's a unique coloring, and it has a great kind of fur on their skin, and like they have like the family is called a gray family. So when I saw that animal, I was really surprised. It behaves like more of a monkey category, also human.
Yeah, time was up. It needs to be within a 1 minute. Yeah, you need to wrap it up. I mean, there was a description of panda. First of all, you don't need to explain what the panda is. Everybody knows what the panda is. So you just need to say you interacted here. You explain what the animal looks like, which is great, but you didn't tell me how did you interact with an animal? Did you speak to it? Did you play video games with the animal? Of course, I'm joking, but you need to tell me, did you pet the animal? So you need to tell me, like, how did your interaction look like? You did explain where it happened. You didn't really tell me what happened. How did you interact with the animal? It happened in Manitoba in the zoo. Okay, so the Canadian government bought the panda from the China, which we know it's like really hard. So I know that you have to tell me like what was the expression, what was this experience like? Was it precious? Because we know the fact that it's so hard to get pandas from China. So how was the experience? Now I corrected the student, and apart from the bad audio, it was not so bad, but he didn't finish. So the student needs to know that here the time limit is 1 minute. Let's see, test 1, task 2, correction. Let's hear this.
Today I'm going to talk about the time when I interacted with an animal called as panda, which is one of the rarest in the world. And when I was in Winnipeg, Manitoba, I went to a zoo. The animal interacted with me because it was a zoo, so it came closer to me as I went near to them. And the feeling was when I saw them, I was really surprised to see the color of their fur or skin. And it looked like a raccoon family. They have similar skull, teeth, and ringtails. I remember this experience because it gave me a different feeling because I have seen many animals in the zoo. This was the first time I saw a panda. So it was a very awesome feeling.
Sorry, now this looks much better. It had a better introduction, happened in Winnipeg. Now, only thing here that the description was nicer. I still didn't understand what happened, how you interacted. The tone was really bad. I think that, okay, now the student paid attention to the time limit. The only thing that I would say that you need to hesitate less. So stop doing, right? Everybody needs to work on their hesitations, including myself. I know I do this during the lesson a lot. But then again, I'm not recording myself for the exam, I'm recording myself for you, so it's more natural. Here it's, let's say, allowed, but it's still, when I look at my videos, I hear and I see that I do a lot of right. So again, just like you, I need to pay attention on those. And now let's listen to the last audio, test 1, task 2, part 2.
There are many interactions for me with animals, and the best one is with my dog Tommy. Initially, this guy was in streets. When I met Tommy, he was in difficult situation. His total body was wounded and he was not able to stand. Then I took him onto my hands and took him to nearby hospital. Initially, we have cleaned all the wounds in his body with the Dettol and applied multiple ointments. And also we gave him multiple painkillers and also gave him the medicines to cure all the body wounds and also to come out of the pain and all. So after 1 week, all the wounds got cleared out and he was able to stand and also run. So now he completed 1 year in my home and he is very happy now. And that was story about one of the important guy in my life.
Beautiful introduction. You need a better you need a better wrap up. And that was a story when I interacted with an animal. This is a beautiful story on how you saved an animal. That's a beautiful interaction here. You interacted with this animal, you helped the animal, you explained everything that happened. So we have this kind of emotional component, not only like how, but you need a description. You need to tell me how this animal looked like. Was it a poodle? Was it big? Was it small? Was it long hair, short hair, white hair, blue hair, everything? Did the animal have a funny sound when he barked or she barked? You need to give me these descriptions, because in a task 2 you need to use a lot of these sensories, a lot of visual expressions, explanations, description, visual description, audio, how to feel under when you touch the animal, like. So yeah, you need to pay attention on that. But the good thing is that the student followed the time limit, so that's great. Again, guys, this is it for today's class. Thank you so much. Stay with us and focus, because by the end of the 15th class, I will give you an important information which is going to be really, really useful for you. It's something special. Stick with us and I will see you in the next class. Thanks for participating. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.